there guitar players, it's Anthony here at Cutting Edge Guitar, and in today's video I want to be talking to you about the 5 biggest guitar technique mistakes that I see in students that come to me to improve their guitar technique. So let's get right into this. The first thing that I see, well, usually when people are coming to me for lessons, they're trying to improve elements of their playing like modern rock legato. And when they're trying to improve that sort of playing style, one of the things is they have an improper hand placement. Now what I mean by that is, first things first, their thumb is usually too high. Why this is such a problem is if I play a basic exercise, something like this, when I'm doing that, my thumb has to be almost invisible from this angle, right? You can't see it over the top of the neck. Now, the reason for that is when I'm playing this, if you look at how dexterous my hand is, I've got a nice space between the fingers, I've got a space between the cup of the hand and the bottom of the guitar neck, so everything is easy to reach. But if you start bringing your thumb higher above the guitar neck, instantly you can see in my hand, like if I do that again, my hand starts to immediately cramp. So when I'm like this behind the back of the guitar neck, as soon as you bring your thumb higher, your hand is doing this. And it therefore makes things like 3 notes per string scales and all of that stuff very, very, very hard to do. So first things first, make sure that you have a proper hand position, which means your thumb lower down into the middle of the back of the neck. And then the way that you want your fingers to be positioned is so that your fingers almost look like the tips of the fingers are pointing at the guitar. If I basically just play a chromatic bunch of notes on the top 2 strings here, you should have this like look about it almost, that the first finger bends in, these 2 fingers are placed so that you can never get your fingers completely straight to the guitar neck, but your second and third fingers will be like so, and then your 4th finger kind of curves in a bit like this. So if you take your hand away from the guitar, that's what your fingers are going to look like, okay? So that proper hand positioning allows you to have the dexterity that you want to be able to play the licks and lines that you want to if you're looking for more technical styles. Now another thing that I see is overlooking string muting, okay? Now again, if I just place something like, as I'm just whizzing around there and all that sort of stuff, I was just using modern rock legato style technique. One of the things that you can't hear there is a load of extraneous string noise in the background, okay? Now, as we're playing a percussive instrument, and obviously I play modern rock, fusion and all that sort of stuff, so I'm generally going to be using a healthy amount of distortion, lead guitar tone. When you're doing that, even hitting the guitar itself produces sound in the background. It's a percussive instrument. So if you're not muting correctly, and that means muting both in the fretting hand and the picking hand, you're going to hear unwanted background noise. And that again is about making sure that you place your fingers correctly. So anytime that you're playing notes on the 6th string or below, you want to be curving your first finger over the other strings so that effectively if you strum through, you don't hear anything. Now when you're on the higher strings, let's say if I'm playing notes on my G string, I want to be using my first finger to stub up against the D string to keep that quiet. And that's something that's possible on the A string and below. So stubbing up to adjacent strings is really important. And then finally, using your picking hand, this part of your picking hand, not to palm mute in the same way that you would if you were going like chugging rock guitar riffs, but you just want to use that to dampen everything. So if I'm playing a repetitive fragment like this, all I'm hearing is the notes that I'm playing. There's nothing else going on in the background, okay? So that's the second thing. The third thing that I see a lot of is neglecting proper fretting hand technique. Now, what I mean by that, that's a bit like the positioning, but I'm talking about the actual way that the notes are fretted on the fingertips, okay? So you want to be fretting on the fingertips, but I see a lot of people that are either, they've got really, really straight fingers, or they've got really ultra curled fingers. So if I try and play with super straight fingers, you lose your dexterity again, but also as well, it's not going to sound clean. If you play too curved, almost like you play a classical guitar, now I've lost the ability to keep that muting going. So what we want is a happy halfway medium between those two styles. So you've got a curvature in your fingers, but it's not like you're holding a tennis ball or something like that. So as you fret, you want to have that nice happy curve so that you're getting that fretting hand muting and all of that stuff, but you've got the dexterity to be able to fly around and do what it is that you want to do. Now, another thing, the fourth point that I want to make is neglecting alternate picking. Now, with this, a lot of students that I see, they think they are alternate picking, but they're actually not. What they're doing is a halfway between economy picking and alternate picking, okay? So you want to be careful that if you're actually economy picking, let's talk about that first. If I just play a basic C major type run, so with economy picking, what I'm going to do, when I'm crossing strings, I'm going to move my pick in the direction of string changes. So if I do up, down, up, down, up, there, that's economy picking. But what I do with my pick, it doesn't go like up, down, up, and then a jerky upward movement here. What you want to do is actually get the pick to drag through the strings so it's nice and smooth. So now here, that would be a downstroke. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. If I was going to do a slower exit on there. So that's like the economy picking thing. But what I see in a lot of students is they confuse the fact that with alternate picking, they think that they're going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. When in fact, what they're doing, they're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, like this. And it's all jerky and not smooth. So make sure that if you want to be alternate picking, you're keeping a very strict down, up, down, up, down, up, all the way through. Now, when you're playing lines like this, the reason why you would want to have that difference between economy picking and alternate picking is because they sound different. Economy picking sounds smoother. Alternate picking gives you that really aggressive Paul Gilbert style bite. Okay? So it's very, very important that you don't neglect looking at that alternate picking style. Okay, and the final point, the fifth point I want to make, is that a lot of people skip warming up before they play. Now, it depends on what you're doing. You could be working on practice, or you could be about to record or go and play live. So when I'm seeing my students, generally they're coming in for a lesson and they're not going to be particularly warmed up, but I will try to get them warmed up before they start working on a graded piece or something like that. So instead of just ripping into their rendition of Back in Black or something that they're about to play for their grade thing, we'll start working on some scales, just some basic shapes. Just to get them warm. Now, warming up is really, really important from the perspective of when you are about to play, you're only going to play your best if you are warm. It takes a while to get your tendons moving, your fingers, your dexterity going, and all of that good stuff. But then also as well, if you're about to record or if you're about to perform, you want to feel at one with the instrument, you want to feel comfortable, happy, etc., etc. And it takes a fair while to warm up to that point. So you need to get everything moving, you need to get connected with knowing where you are on your fretboard and all of that. So warming up is a super, super important thing to do. Okay guys, that's it for these 5 points. If you are looking for more help on crushing your guitar progress barriers right now, I have a free assessment. It's an online assessment tool that you can take at the links on my profiles or at my website, anywhere that you want to go to. It's just 15 straightforward, easy questions that you can answer to diagnose your guitar problems right now. And once you've done it, I'll send you some feedback on where you are currently as a player, completely for free, and it will help get you on the road to where you want to be as a player. So go to the links in and around this video or in my bio, watch wherever you can find that link, and you can take that assessment completely for free and get the feedback completely for free. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time.